It's been called the greatest reform of marine scale fisheries in this state. The report of the Marine Scale Fisheries Strategic Review, but it's not worth the paper it's written on. Maybe that's why it's hidden away. Even the 561 licence holders who have access to this state's fish stocks think the same. Only 10% of them bothered to answer the questionnaire sent out by the MFA. It's in the same basket as the last Recreational Fishing Survey. They say never get between a politician and a vote, or a professional fisher and the last fish. Those 10% who responded actually turned on each other. They want the 210 rock lobster licence holders to either hand in their marine scale fish endorsements or have them made null and void, so they can only fish for rock lobster. They want the practice of leasing of licences banned and removed from the industry. There is no evidence on the number of licences that refers to, as PIRSA doesn't know. But the commercials claim it is rife and getting worse. They claim this action negatively affects the fishery by encouraging short-term, highly intensive fishing practices that may compromise the long-term sustainability of key resources. They want regulations to limit the number of occasions that licences can be transferred, temporarily ceasing the transfer of licences for a designated amount of time, or to implement a fee structure on transfers that would dissuade the practice. The main goal of the reform package is to ensure that the commercial sector of the MSF maintains its current allocation of the resource. Now, this is a very vital point for this state's fish stocks. With all of the recommendations put forward, the main aim is to keep the status quo to the resource. So basically, not one fish will be saved from the nets or lines, but yet it will cost the state more than $20 million to make those commercial fishermen left in the industry richer. Hey, that's great. We'll get you dummies to pay for all of our mismanagement and overfishing we've contributed to, so we can increase our bank accounts. Fair fish? I don't think so. Much has been said about the $20 million buyback of licences. Don't be fooled into thinking those licences are coming from active fishers. Oh no, the report says any buyback should be aimed at older fishers who no longer fish. But it highlights that over a quarter of the licences in the fishery fish less than 25 days per year. Now, if that is 25% of 309 licences, that would be 77 licences. But if it is 25% of the 561 licences available, that includes the rock lobster guys, then that would be 140 licences. So the plan, which has been endorsed by both major parties at this state election, is to remove 100 licences. From which bucket are they coming from? Here's the proof that the money will go to those who don't fish anyway. It just leaves the same situation that we're in, depleting fish stocks, overfishing and the like. But I couldn't believe it when I read that the MFA, in its report, actually stated for the record, in addition, a reduction in licence numbers does not necessarily result in reduced total catch and effort in the industry. So what the hell are we spending $20 million on? A pension scheme? Let's look at what has been promised. That is, the removal of 80 longline and 20 net fishing licences. Sounds good, but really ineffective. There are currently 281 longline licences, with a total of 2,230 longlines. As far as netting, there are 121 licences for gill, haul and large mesh nets, with a total of 429 devices. How many of those are latent licences? That is, they haven't been used and are waiting for payday. The MFA really had a great opportunity to truly reform its industry and make it an icon in this country. But this document leaves them floundering on the rocks with their nets and long lines just blowing in the wind.